Hello and welcome to English Spark Official. I'm Zayden, joined as always by Alara.
Hey everyone! We're so excited about today's topic.
Have you ever stood in a coffee shop and you open your mouth to order and then...
Your mind just goes totally blank.
Yes, completely blank. Like, you know the English words, you studied them at home.
Right.
But in that exact moment, your brain just feels empty and you end up just pointing your finger and saying, coffee.
Yeah, just coffee. It happens to so many people.
It really does. And if you are learning English and you are living in an English-speaking country, you know this feeling. You are not alone.
It is a very, very powerful feeling. So today, we are doing a deep dive into a learning program. It's from English Spark Official.
Right, the 8-week challenge.
Exactly. It is called the 8-week challenge, from hesitation to total flow. And this program is built specifically for people at an A2 or B2 level of English.
Let's explain that quickly. So an A2 level means you know basic English, you can have simple conversations, but you are still learning.
Right. And B2 means you're a bit more comfortable, but maybe not perfect. And these are people who live in places like the United States or Canada or the UK.
So they have to use English every single day.
Every day. And, you know, using a new language every day is exhausting. It makes you so tired.
Oh, absolutely. You have to use it at the bank, at the supermarket, at your job. It never stops.
Yeah. And this program says it can help you stop that blank mind feeling. It wants to help you reach something called total flow.
Total flow. I love that name. What does flow actually mean here?
Well, total flow means you speak smoothly. You do not stop to think. Your words just come out naturally, like water flowing down a river.
That sounds amazing. But to get that flow, we first have to understand the starting line, right? We have to understand hesitation.
Hesitation is the big problem here. The program identifies hesitation as the main enemy of speaking.
And hesitation just means you stop before you speak. You wait. You think too much.
Right. You worry. And most people think they hesitate because they do not know enough words.
Oh yeah, like I need to study more vocabulary.
Exactly. But the program shows that vocabulary is not the real issue. The real issue is actually the physical feeling of fear.
Fear. Okay, let's explore that feeling of fear. Because I think we all have a daily speaking fear.
Oh, for sure.
Let's imagine a very normal morning. You walk into a busy coffee shop before work.
Sounds stressful already.
Right. The shop is loud. The coffee machine is making that loud hissing noise. People are talking fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you stand in a long line. You want a large coffee with milk. You know these words perfectly. You are an intelligent adult.
Yes.
So you practice the order in your head. You tell yourself, I would like a large coffee with milk, please. You feel prepared.
You feel very prepared while you are safe in the back of the line. But then, you know, the line moves forward.
Yes, the line moves. And suddenly you reach the front. There are 5 people behind you.
And they're all looking at their watches.
Exactly. They are in a big hurry. And the cashier looks at you. The cashier is tired and they speak very, very fast.
They usually do.
They say something like, next in line, what can I get started for you today? And suddenly you feel hot. Your chest feels tight. Your heart beats faster.
That is the panic.
Yeah, it's panic. And that beautiful sentence you practiced, the one about the large coffee with milk, it just disappears.
Poof, gone.
Completely gone. You forget you forget please. You just point your finger at the menu board and say one single word, coffee.
And then you walk away feeling so frustrated, you ask yourself, why couldn't I say a simple sentence?
Exactly. I really want to look closely at this moment. Why does this happen? We know the person has the vocabulary in their head. Does the brain just break down under pressure?
Well, no, it does not break down at all. It actually does exactly what it is designed to do.
Wait, really? It's supposed to do that?
Yeah. When you are in that loud, busy coffee shop, your brain feels stress. Living in a new language is very stressful. You are constantly worried about making a mistake or sounding foolish.
Right, you don't want to look silly.
Exactly. So when the cashier speaks too fast, your brain thinks you are in actual physical danger. Your brain enters survival mode.
So the brain treats a fast-talking cashier like a wild animal.
In a way, yes. The fear center of the brain takes control. And when that fear center is active, it actually blocks other parts of the brain.
Oh, wow.
They could block your language center. The words are still inside your head. You still know them. But the fear puts a thick, heavy wall between your thoughts and your mouth.
So you just cannot reach the words.
Exactly. You can't reach them. The 8-week challenge is built to fix this specific problem. It is designed to lower the panic so that the wall comes down.
Okay, so if panic is the wall blocking the words, the obvious question is,
How do we break the wall?
yes. How does this 8-week challenge actually take down that wall? How do we stop the panic?
Well, the program does something surprising. It tells you to stop trying to learn difficult words.
Stop learning difficult words.
Yes. The core rule of the program is this. Start simple and grow slowly.
Start simple and grow slowly. That is a very important rule because, when we want to sound smart in a new language, we often try to use big, difficult words.
We do. We try to use B2 level words or even C1 level words, even when we feel like an A2 level speaker.
But using difficult words takes a lot of brain energy. If you are already stressed, trying to remember a hard word will just, trigger the panic.
It's a lot like going to the gym to lift weights.
Oh, I like this. Tell me more.
If you have never lifted weights before, you do not start by trying to lift 100 kilos.
No, definitely not.
If you try to lift the heaviest weight on your first day, your body will fail. You might drop the weight. You might get hurt.
Right. You have to start small.
Exactly. To build strength, you have to start with a very light weight. You lift a 5-kilo weight, it feels easy. You lift it 10 times, you feel successful.
That is a very accurate comparison. Starting simple builds your confidence.
Yeah, and confidence is the feeling that you can succeed. When you use simple words that you know perfectly, you do not make mistakes.
And when you do not make mistakes, you feel safe. You feel calm.
Right. And here is the science behind it. Your brain cannot feel calm and panicked at the same time. If you build confidence, you kill the fear.
Let's talk about a daily situation where this core rule changes everything, because I think this is so helpful.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think about talking to your neighbor. You step outside your house to take a walk. Your neighbor is standing outside. You want to be friendly. You want to build a connection.
Which is normal.
Very normal. But you think to yourself, I must sound educated. I will say, the weather conditions today are exceptionally pleasant.
Oh my goodness. That is a very heavy weight to lift.
Right.
That sentence belongs in a textbook. It does not belong in a normal human conversation.
And because it is heavy, you drop it. You start to walk toward your neighbor. You realize you forgot the word exceptionally, and your heart starts beating fast again.
The panic is back.
Exactly. You look at the ground, you walk past your neighbor, and you only nod your head. You say nothing. The fear won.
The fear won because you tried to lift 100 kilos. Now, apply the core rule. Start simple.
Okay, let's try it again. You step outside, you see your neighbor, you decide to lift the 5-kilo weight. You decide to use simple words you know completely. You look at your neighbor, you smile, and you say, nice weather today.
Nice weather today.
Yeah.
It is short, it is basic, but it works perfectly.
And the neighbor smiles back and says, yes, it is beautiful out. You nod and you continue your walk. You survived.
You survived.
You had a real interaction in English. You feel a small victory.
And that small victory is everything. Every time you have a small victory, the fear center in your brain gets a little bit quieter.
So you are proving to your brain that speaking English is not dangerous.
Yes. And tomorrow, because you feel safe, you might add one more simple sentence. You grow slowly.
This brings up another interesting rule from the program. Sometimes we do have to use a hard word.
Oh.
Like we have to talk about something complicated at work or maybe at the doctor's office. The program says that if we use a hard word, we must explain it naturally in conversation.
Right, not like a textbook.
Why is learning from a textbook a bad idea for natural speaking? I mean, we all learn from textbooks in school.
Well, textbooks are wonderful for learning the rules of a language, but textbooks demand perfection. They teach you to use complex grammar and long sentences.
And real life is not perfect.
Exactly. In real life, human beings do not speak perfectly. We make small mistakes. We pause. We say, and
Like we are doing right now.
Yes. If you try to speak like a perfect textbook, you put enormous pressure on yourself. You sound robotic. The program focuses on natural, human-like conversation. It teaches you to accept your simple words.
It sounds like we are training the brain to feel safe. We use simple words to keep the panic away.
That is step one.
But, knowing words in your brain is only half the battle. How do we get our mouths to actually say the words without freezing? The brain and the mouth have to work together, right?
Yes, they do. Speaking is a physical action. It is not just in your head. Your mouth, your lips, and your tongue are full of muscles.
I never really think about my tongue as a muscle, but of course it is.
It is. And English sounds very different from many other languages. You have to move your mouth muscles in new ways to make English sounds.
So the program helps with that?
Yes. The program uses specific physical exercises to train these muscles. The two main tools are repetition and shadowing practice.
Okay, let me push back on this idea for a second. The program wants us to repeat phrases. The phrase we hear a lot is repeat after me.
Right.
But earlier, we just said, we do not want to sound like robots. If I sit in my bedroom and say, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? 50 times to the wall, that sounds exactly like robot training to me. How is this natural?
That is a very fair point. Simply reading a sentence 50 times like a machine is robotic. But shadowing is very different from reading.
How so?
Shadowing is an active physical exercise. Let me use another analogy. Think about learning to sing a song.
Okay, singing a song.
If you just read the words on a piece of paper, it does not sound like music. It sounds flat. But if you turn on the radio, listen to the singer, and sing along with them, you learn the song.
Oh, I see. You copy them.
Exactly. You copy the singer's rhythm. You copy their emotion. You copy their breathing. You feel the music.
You are learning by feeling the music, not by reading the rules.
Right. Shadowing in language is exactly the same. You listen to a native speaker say a phrase, then you copy them like a shadow.
So I am the shadow following the speaker.
Yes. You do not just repeat the words. You copy the speed of their voice. You copy the emotion. If their voice goes high at the end, your voice goes high at the end. You become their vocal shadow.
How does copying the emotion help us speak better? Does it actually change anything?
It builds what we call muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Let's explain that simply for our listeners.
Sure. Think about riding a bicycle. When you first learn to ride a bike, you have to think about balance. You have to think about putting your feet on the pedals. It is very hard, and you fall down a lot.
Because your brain is doing all the work.
Right. But after you practice, your body just remembers how to do it. You do not think about the rules of balancing anymore. Your leg muscles just have a memory. They know what to do.
So when we shadow, we are building a memory for our tongue and lips.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
When you practice shadowing, you are training your mouth muscles to form English sentences automatically.
That is amazing.
You are training the muscles to move smoothly from one word to the next. If you practice shadowing enough, your mouth will know how to say the sentence without asking your brain for the grammar rules.
That is fascinating. So think back to that busy coffee shop. The fast-talking cashier makes your brain panic. The wall goes up. But if your mouth has muscle memory, your mouth can actually save you. It can deliver the sentence even if your brain is feeling stressed. The mouth just takes over.
Yes. That is the exact goal of total flow. Your body knows what to do even when your brain is scared.
This feels so important that I really want to invite the listener to try it right now with us. Let's do a quick active shadowing practice together.
I love this idea. Let's do it.
I'm going to say a very simple, very useful phrase. It is a phrase you can use when someone speaks too quickly and you do not understand them.
Which happens all the time.
All the time. So I will say it, and then I want you, the listener, to shadow me out loud.
This is a great exercise. And for the listener, notice how the host's voice changes pitch. Notice the friendly emotion. Do not just read the words like a robot. Copy the feeling.
Here's the phrase. Excuse me, could you repeat that? Let's listen again. Notice how my voice goes up a little bit at the end to sound polite. Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Perfect.
Now it is your turn. Shadow me. Say it out loud right now. Excuse me, could you repeat that?
If you did that out loud, you just built a tiny piece of muscle memory. Your tongue and your lips just practice the physical path of those words.
Let's do it one more time. Make your voice sound very relaxed and friendly. Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Excellent. The more you do this, the stronger the muscle memory becomes.
But, people often feel embarrassed talking to themselves out loud. I know I do. Where is the best place to practice this shadowing so people don't think we are crazy?
That is a common fear. You need a place where you feel completely safe. You need a place with zero stress.
So not the coffee shop.
No, not the coffee shop. Many people find the best places in the shower.
Oh, the shower is brilliant. The water is loud. No one can hear you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes. You can sound silly. Another great place is alone in your car while you're driving to work.
The car is perfect. You are completely alone. You can turn the program on the radio and shadow the speaker loudly.
Yes, you can be as loud as you want.
So you are training your muscles in a safe environment. You do the hard work before you ever step inside the coffee shop. You practice the flow before you actually need the flow.
That is the secret right there. You build the strength in the car so you can lift the weight in the real world.
Okay, this gives us a very clear picture. We are keeping the fear away by using simple words, and we are training our mouths to move automatically by using shadowing practice.
Right.
So we have the tools to speak. But speaking is only one part of a conversation, isn't it? You cannot have a conversation by yourself.
No, you cannot. A conversation always requires two people. You have to speak, but you also have to listen.
And listening can be just as scary as speaking. Maybe even scarier, because you can't control what the other person says.
Exactly. The 8-week challenge has specific tools for listening, too. It uses things called listening focus cues and small interactive questions.
Listening focus cues. Okay, let's start with the big picture. Why is listening so difficult in an English-speaking environment?
Let's use another analogy to make it simple. Playing a conversation is a lot like playing a game of tennis.
Tennis, okay.
When you serve the ball, that is like speaking. You are sending the words over the net to the other person.
But you cannot just hit the ball, close your eyes, and relax. The other person is going to hit the ball back to you.
Exactly. When they hit the ball back, that is when you have to listen. In the real world, native speakers hit the ball very hard and very fast.
They really do. They use slang. They connect their words together so that 3 words sound like one long word.
Yeah, and when that fastball comes flying over the net at you, it is very easy to panic. You feel like you cannot catch it.
I know that exact feeling. You hear 5 words, you miss 1 word, and then your brain just freezes.
Right.
You stop listening to the rest of the sentence because you are worrying about the 1 word you missed. You just drown in the fast English.
Yes. So how do listening focus cues help us stay in the game? What exactly is a cue?
Yeah, let's explain that.
A cue is a signal. It is a sign that tells your brain to pay attention. In the program, they often use a simple phrase like, listen carefully to this next part. That phrase is a cue.
Why does saying listen carefully make a difference? I mean, shouldn't we always be listening carefully?
Well, in a perfect world, yes. But when you are learning a language, your brain gets tired very quickly. Translating words takes a massive amount of energy.
It really does. It is exhausting.
After 10 minutes of listening, your mind might start to wander. You might start thinking about what you will make for dinner, or if you left the oven on, your focus just drops. When the program uses a cue, like listen carefully, it is like a referee blowing a whistle. It wakes your brain up. It tells your brain to get ready because an important ball is coming over the net.
That makes a lot of sense. It really shows why people feel so tired after working in English all day. It takes physical energy to keep the brain focused. So the cue wakes us up. What about the second tool?
The small interactive questions.
Yes, the program uses small interactive questions. How does a small question help us avoid panic?
This is a great tool. A small question requires a small answer. This is a very powerful way to manage your fear.
How so?
When we are in a conversation, we often fear that we will have to give a long, complicated speech. If someone asks you a massive question like, what do you think is the biggest problem in society today? Your brain will immediately freeze.
Oh, absolutely. The weight is too heavy. The ball is moving too fast. I would definitely hesitate. I would try to build a huge B2 level sentence in my head and I would completely panic.
But the program trains you with small questions instead.
Yeah.
A small question asks for one simple piece of information.
Right.
For example, the cashier at the coffee shop does not ask you for your philosophy on life. The cashier asks, do you want room for milk in that?
That is a small question.
And how do you answer it? You do not need a long speech. You just lift the lightweight. You give a small answer. You say, yes, please.
Small question, small answer. I love that.
Yes. The program constantly asks you small, interactive questions to keep you participating. It trains your brain to realize that conversations are not usually long speeches.
They are not.
No. A long conversation is just a series of many small questions and small answers connected together. When you realize that, all the pressure disappears.
You just have to hit the ball back over the net gently. You catch the small question, you give the small answer. You do not worry about the whole tennis match. You only focus on the next simple hit.
And when you do this, you stay in the flow.
You stay in the flow because you remain calm. You are actively participating, but you are not asking your brain to do something impossible.
Exactly. You keep it simple.
This has been a deeply practical look at how we learn to speak. We have covered a lot of important ground today. Let's bring all these pieces together for everyone listening.
Good idea.
We started by looking at English Spark Official's 8-week challenge. We wanted to know how to move from that terrible feeling of hesitation to a place of total flow.
And we discovered that the real enemy is not our vocabulary.
Oh.
The real enemy is the panic created by the brain's fear center. When we feel stress, the brain actually blocks the words we already know.
To break down that wall of panic, we have to build confidence. We build confidence by changing our rules. We stop trying to use difficult textbook words. We start with simple, easy words.
We lift the light weights.
Right. We accept that natural human conversation is not perfect, and that is okay.
We also discussed the physical side of speaking. We learned that the mouth has muscles that need training.
Muscle memory.
Yes, we use shadowing practice, which is singing along with the native speaker to copy their emotion and the rhythm. This builds that muscle memory, allowing our mouths to speak even when our brains are feeling nervous.
And we practice this safely in the shower or the car, where no one can hear us.
Exactly. Finally, we looked at the listening side of the conversation.
Right, the tennis game.
We use listening cues to wake our tired brains up, and we train ourselves to answer small questions with small answers. We hit the tennis ball gently back over the net. We do not panic about giving long speeches.
All of these tools work together to create safety. When the brain feels safe, the words can flow.
Before we finish our deep dive today, I want to leave you, the listener, with a challenge for your real life.
Ooh, a challenge. I like it.
Think about your daily routine in your English-speaking environment. Think about the one specific English phrase you are most afraid to say out loud. What is the situation that gives you the most panic?
Is it answering the phone at your office? Is it asking a question to your child's teacher? Is it ordering your food at that busy coffee shop we talked about?
Identify that one moment. Find it. Tomorrow, when that moment arrives, I want you to remember the core rule. Do not try to be perfect.
Do not search for big words.
Right. Just try to keep it completely simple. Let the small words flow. But your challenge actually begins today.
What should they do today?
What is the one simple sentence you will practice shadowing right now? Pick your sentence. Go to your car or stand in your shower. Say it out loud 10 times. Copy the friendly emotion. Train your muscle memory today.
If you train the muscle memory today, you will have the courage you need for tomorrow. You can take that small step. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
Learning to operate in a new language is hard work, but you are not alone in the challenge. Keep finding your small victories, keep using your simple words, and we will catch you next time for another deep dive.